When you know God a certain way, you shall not fear. Mark the word I've used, shall, the verb shall. It's a first person verb. Shall, it's a verb that speaks of the future, but carries a premeditated command or instruction or expression of a future decision. It has to have a certain backing of a particular law in the spirit. That's why even you realize lawyers usually don't use the buyer will. They usually use the word the buyer shall. It carries a place that holds a man accountable beyond choice, but mandate and command and instruction. The Lord is my shepherd. That's the reason I shall not want. So in the future, I shall not want. I don't expect to want. Why? Because there is premeditated experience of the reason. There's a premeditated law that cannot allow me to want. He is my shepherd. That's why you shall not want. He did not say that you will not have enemies. No, he only said that when you walk with him, you will have peace with your enemies. Meaning, they'll have nothing to do to you, even though they will want to. But there will be peace. God will put peace. It doesn't mean that the enemies will execute the peace. No, it only means that God will put peace between you and your enemies. You see, when the Bible says you will not fear, okay, it's different from when the Bible says you shall not fear. That is what David speaks about in Psalms 91. The Bible says that he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. This is a man dwelling in the secret place of the Most High. This is a man abiding under the shadow of the Almighty. And the next verse says, and I will say of the Lord, he is, you see, my refuge. He's giving the reason. And my fortress and my God, in him I will trust. He's my refuge. You understand? He's my fortress and he's my God in whom I will trust. Now, the next verse says, surely, not he will, he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Why? Because he's your refuge. He's your fortress. You dwell in the shadow of his wing. You are in his dwelling place. You are there. He says, surely he shall cover. He shall, not will, he shall. That there's something that demands him to commit himself to the future of your covering. This is not a place where God chooses to protect you. No, he shall protect you. There's something that holds him accountable to protect you. Why? Because he knows he's your refuge. He's your fortress. He said, I'm your refuge. When he says I'm your refuge, it means I shall, not I will. It's not about choice. It's about the commitment of the command I have set in the spirit that I'm your refuge. And the next verse says, thou shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flieth by day. The bad news. You probably got a report from a doctor that tells you how long. You probably got news from somebody threatening your life, or threatening your reputation, or threatening your career, or threatening your marriage, or threatening. It's there, yes. And God here is not saying you will not fear. He's saying you shall not fear. That means even if you will to fear, you shall not fear. Come on, somebody. Have you ever woken up with bad news and then somehow you feel like you're shaking, you're worried, but then all a while there's something stronger in you. It's stronger than your fear. It's inside there. Are you hearing me? You don't have a definition for it. You didn't know how you're going to cross the next day, but the next day came. I said, how come I'm still breathing? Because there are people who would be in the same position as you are, and they would die because of worry. Actually, I was a bit scared last evening. No, that was you willing. But God says, there's something bigger than your will. It's not even if you will fear, you shall not be afraid. Why? Because I'm your fortress. I'm your refuge. I am your protector. You're under the shadow. Oh, Rabando Sakata. You dwell in the secret place. What am I trying to say? The thing that God has set for your protection will override the fear in your soul. The sermons you're hearing now, they are garrisoning you. You understand? They are instructing you. The words you're hearing right now, they are placing a command in your soul. Isaiah 54 verses 14. He says, in righteousness, are you the righteousness of God in Christ? He says, in righteousness, thou shalt be established, and thou shall be far from oppression. For thou shall not fear from terror, for it shall not come near thee. And the next verse says, behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against me shall fall for thy sake. And behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me. Come on, somebody give the Lord a mightier shout. Shout!
Phaneroo, make manifest.